What's up, everybody? I am Adam Frax, and this is Talking Dynasty. This is a little bit different episode than typically that we do on Talking Dynasty, but I think it's a big enough weekend, and this brings in a lot of the casual fans when we're talking about professional wrestling, and that's Wrestlemania. So I thought, let's expand our coverage a little bit as far as what we do here at Talking Dynasty. So I had to bring on somebody who is immersed, I would say, into the world of professional wrestling, not just on the larger scale of WWE and AEW, somebody who knows local wrestling as well, and somebody who is top tier when it comes to podcast host. And I would say at this point it's technically my boss over at Interstate 70 Sports Media. So I would like to bring on the Maestro, Jeremy Karp.
How's it going, Adam? Can you hear me?
We're good, brother. I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. It is such a pleasure to be on. Honestly, this might be my first, maybe second appearance here on Talking Dynasty. So I'm just thankful to be here. I love it.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, brother. So I'll start with this. So overall card of Wrestlemania for both nights. What's your opinion as far as overall card and strength of it, and what you think about it?
Well, overall, I actually do like the card. I think for the most part, the matchups are pretty intriguing. I love the women's matches, especially the women's title matches. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair, I think, can be a show stealer. I really enjoy Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey.
Do you think they should have those matches on the same night? So right now they're slated to have those both on night one.
No, I do not think they should do, and I feel like, and the only reason I feel like they shouldn't is, I mean, it's kind of natural. Have one title on one night, no title on the other night. It makes sense. I think the reason they're having them on the same night right now, notice that it's on the first night. I kind of think it just has to do with the fact that they're not certain on if everyone's going to tune in to both nights consistently. So they figure, I mean, because Adam, if you look at some of the matches that are on night one, in comparison to night two, like they do their best to balance it out, obviously, but I feel like they're putting a lot of effort into night one as opposed to night two.
Right. Well, do you think that they because if you notice, they have more matches on night one than they do night two, but they have the bigger, what I would say, the biggest main event with Lesnar and Reigns. Do you think that because of that they're willing to, that's going to be pretty much the focal point of night two, and that so they can kind of give, I don't want to say give less, but obviously give less matches.
Yeah, and I think that there's no way you're not having Lesnar versus Reigns on night two. That's a given. It's the winner take all unification, the title unification match. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's going to be the final match of night two. When looking at the match card, night two has a little bit more of the celebrity, part on it. Like, you got Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. You got Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Because Logan Paul is on night one, and I don't expect much out of it. I expect Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee to be a good match. I don't expect anything from, and I think you were actually the one that was mentioning it on the Wrestle Talk podcast a couple nights ago, that you're anticipating an absolute squash match between Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville.
For sure.
Which I could totally see happening. So Yeah,
But
I like the card. Oh, go ahead.
so when I say squash match, I still think it's going to go at least 15 minutes. But I just think it's going to be an ass whooping for 15 minutes.
Which he very well could. And I'll be honest, I mean, Johnny Knoxville's been getting his ass whooped for 2-hour long movies for how many years now? So I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary. But no, I agree that I can see it being about a 15-minute, and it's an anything goes match. So they're not going to have a 5-minute anything goes match. So I do
Right.
really agree with you on the part that they're going to probably go about 15 minutes. I could see it. I'll be honest, I don't have any interest in Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. I don't. I don't. I just no. That might be the least interesting match on the card for me. And I like Drew McIntyre, but I just don't give a crap about this whole storyline. I really don't.
I would also put the New Day and Sheamus and Rich Holland in kind of that category too. Like it's not
I
something
like
that
the New Day. New Day is always one of my favorites, but yeah,
no,
you're right. I don't really find that one interesting either.
right. Other like the what has brought a little bit of life to that, unfortunately, is Big E breaking his neck. So what it's done is help build a little bit more of a story to that. I really couldn't even tell you, um, why that deserved. If this was a one night WrestleMania, that's definitely pre-show.
Yeah.
Both of them,
Oh
both
my
Drew
god.
McIntyre,
If
Happy
it's a one night
Corbin.
wrestle, it might not even be on the WrestleMania nights. Like it might be on the SmackDown before if WrestleMania was one night, because
Right.
that is not, to me, that is not a WrestleMania caliber match. I think
Which is
if
confusing.
my honest opinion, oh, I was just gonna say, like, you take a look at the New Day versus the Usos. That would be a match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. That's a WrestleMania caliber match because they've had one of the best feuds of the past 10 years.
I agree.
But Nakamura and Rick Boogs, I like them both, but and Sheamus and Rich Holland, I got no, and Butch with them, I got no interest in that. There's just, for the stuff that I'm really interested in, the discrepancy between that and the stuff that I don't care about is pretty vast.
Now, don't you think it's a little bit of a the fact that we're not getting the Intercontinental Championship on WrestleMania and it's being pushed to Friday Night SmackDown? Do you think that is like maybe a way for them to bump up that SmackDown more? Or is it kind of a disgrace to that particular title?
I think it's both. I think, first off, it's an absolute disgrace. The Intercontinental title is one of the most prestigious titles in the history of professional wrestling, not just WWE. For the longest time, the WWE title was WWE title is always number one, but the Intercontinental title was that secondary title. You got guys like Steamboat, Macho Man Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, Chris Jericho. You got so many of these guys, and it was always where that IC title was the final stepping stone to the top of the ladder. It's like, holy crap, this guy's got the Intercontinental title. So yeah, it's a disgrace. But I also do think that by putting it on SmackDown, excuse me, that they are trying to boost the ratings going into, the biggest wrestling show of the year. And to me, SmackDown's the A show anyway. So while I want the IC title at WrestleMania, I do welcome a great SmackDown show.
No, I definitely agree with that theory. So, and right now they're not doing too much with Ricochet, even with that Intercontinental title, or Finn Balor with the U.S. title, especially with him. Oh no, it was Ricochet this past Monday taking a loss, I believe, right? To Austin Theory.
Yeah, he took the loss to Austin Theory, and it's like, okay, so we're just going to overlook the fact that he is the Intercontinental Champion. And yeah, speaking of which, looking at WrestleMania, It doesn't look like Finn Balor's on the card. Damian Priest isn't on the card. So it's like, yeah, I don't. It's confusing. The WWE doesn't know what to do with. They can have 2 women's titles. They can have 3 tag team titles actually. All 3 tag team championships are going to be on Wrestlemania, but the IC title and the United States title are not. That just tells
Right.
you all you need to know.
Yeah, which is crazy because those, especially the IC titles, one of the most prestigious titles that you can in WWE. So, man, so like I got this list off Bleacher Report. So this is from today, I believe. The most updated list is what I'm looking at. We'll just kind of run it down, and you'll just tell me kind of what you think about the match, your intrigue, and kind of who do you think is going to win. So, first we have Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair.
Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. This is my thing. I think it's going to be a good match, but at the same time, I feel like I should be more invested into it. Like, I am invested, but Charlotte Flair is one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. Yeah, it's fun to pick on her, and because believe me, I have when it comes to how many title shots she's gotten. And, Ronda Rousey, people can say what they want about her in-ring skill. I think she's very talented. But,
So do
yeah, overall, I think it'll be a good match. And I'm invested in it, but I just feel like something's missing that's making me not invest in it even more.
I feel like Ronda Rousey's not in it like she was the first go around. Like they that level of
Yeah.
intensity is not there that I recognized before, and the fact I don't know. You're right. There's something missing to where it's just like I don't know. It's honestly one of those, and because I kind of think this is a one off for Ronda, that she's just here for WrestleMania, and then she'll go back to her day-to-day life. I was seeing when I was on Wrestle Talk podcast, I'm not sure who had sent the favorites or the spread, and they had Ronda Rousey as the favorite to win that match. And if I was the one to bet on wrestling, I would take it. I would take Charlotte Flair all day because I don't see Ronda Rousey after Mania.
You don't think Ronda Rousey is going to be on WWE programming after WrestleMania?
No, I don't. I don't. It's just like
Okay.
it seems like something
I can
like
understand that. Right.
so like I understand she's a favorite, and typically this is you bring her back for like most of the time you brought her in for these spotlight moments and she wins them. And hell, I still don't think she's been. No, she got pinned by Becky Lynch at the last WrestleMania Ronda Rousey was in. But I think this is the time where they'll boost Charlotte up. Ronda got paid. We get to boost Charlotte up, add another accolade to her underneath her belt, and it sets up to where now Charlotte goes to the next thing. Ronda goes home, and then she's going to be that. Not even that part timer, that special attraction, that SummerSlam, WrestleMania only.
I can see that.
And
Honestly.
also, I think that's what they need to do with her, because I think like she doesn't have the fanfare that she did when she first came in.
Yeah, like I said, there's something that's keeping me from being as invested. I do feel like something is just lacking. Just like I am so, and I know we'll talk about this match later, but take the Becky Lynch Bianca Belair match. I am
Okay,
full on
we can actually
invested.
we can transition into that. That's actually the next match that I was going to go with.
Okay, well then here we go. I think that's a show stealer. I think that's going to be top. Looking at the 14 matches they got scheduled right now, I'm going to say it's going to go in the top 3 as far as quality in wrestling, storytelling, and just overall motion. Like Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks stole the show last year, and Becky Lynch has always been my favorite as far as the current crop of female wrestlers in WWE. Honestly, wrestlers in WWE in general.
As is
Hell,
mine.
wrestlers in general. And so for her, this is something, Adam, that's been going on since SummerSlam. So it's not often that WWE can get these stories going for this long, but when they do, it's a banger. And right now, like, and I don't know if you caught Monday Night Raw, but Bianca Belair literally was cutting Becky Lynch's hair, and like the fury and the emotion that Becky Lynch had, holy shit. So yes, I am all in and excited about this match, and I think it's the potential to be a show stealer. And I do think, honestly, I think Bianca Belair is gonna beat Becky Lynch.
No, I think she's going to beat Becky Lynch too. It's kind of that, the baby face finally gets her come up. She's been battling for so long, been underneath for so long. I do feel like Bianca Belair's missing something though. Like I'm not sure. I know the whole EST thing is like her kind of shtick, but I'm not even sure exactly what that is. I don't think she's quite hit that second level to kind of put her into an actual superstar like Becky Lynch has, or a Charlotte Flair. So it's just, for me, there's something that's still missing. She probably is the most athletic and gifted woman I've seen in a long time. But for me, there's still something missing when it comes to like the actual character of Bianca Belair itself.
I can totally understand that. So we'll just definitely have to see how it goes.
And that's the beautiful thing about wrestling too, man. She's in the infancy of her wrestling career, and you have to give these people time to progress and have the storylines, and for her to be able to weave in and out. So I'll definitely take a Bianca Belair on that one with you. So let's go to the Fatal 4-Way women's tag match: Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalia and Shayna Baszler versus Carmella and Queen Zelina for the women's tag team championship. Any investment in this one? I'll tell you where my investment comes in.
Yeah, you go with me. Go with you on this one.
Yeah,
where's your investment?
My investment is I love Liv Morgan. Like, that's it. I'm like a huge Liv Morgan mark. Like, she's been, there's been so many times where I thought, like, all right, maybe this is a time where they actually give her a push, and it's never happened. So, unfortunately, the women's tag team championship has kind of been, not quite what I've expected it to be, just kind of on the pedestal that they would have put it on the men's. It's kind of been that secondary championship, unfortunately. So when it comes to Liv Morgan, it's kind of, I'd hate for her to get completely pigeonholed into that for the next few months. But I'm also a Sasha Banks fan. Sasha Banks she's been my favorite since NXT, since I've seen her in NXT. But so like those two, just kind of selfishly for those individuals, like those are two of my favorite women wrestlers. So that's kind of the intrigue that I have in this. Not really the storyline, not really the matchups or any particular tag team. So.
Well, there's not really much of a story besides they really haven't. I mean, Natalia and Shayna Baszler are the tough tag team. Each tag team is a cliche. You got Queen Zelina and Carmella, who are the high class, top fashion-esque, glamorous tag team. You got Sasha Banks and Naomi, who are basically the boss tag team, the badasses, who are friends. You got Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, who I think are going to win the titles, and they are the reject or loner ones. They got abandoned by all their partners, or just nobody believes in them. And then you got Natalia and Shayna Baszler, who are the big buff badass tag team. You know, and they're all talented in their own way. I'm just saying that, you know, as far as a storyline standpoint goes, there's not much to go for.
It's really
But
non-existent.
I do agree with you on Liv Morgan, and I think Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley will probably win the match. You know, but who knows? Crazier things have happened.
All right, so the next one we got the SmackDown Tag Team Championship: Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs versus the Usos.
I really don't. I don't have any.
This just feels like it got thrown together, like after
the fact that this is a match, and the fact that, like I said, the fact that New Day is not facing off against the Usos is just a prime miss, a big swing and a miss by WWE. And you may say, "Oh, but we've seen it 100 times before." Yeah, and each time was good. Each time was some of them were like match of the year. So yeah,
do you think
the fact that it's.
Do you think they're just trying to spread it out right now? Like, you know what I mean? Because it has been happening so much, and like, all right, maybe next year's Wrestlemania, they can develop a storyline and kind of get to that. So, but no, I agree. I agree with you. It'd be a lot more intriguing, these particular tag team titles for matches for the Usos and the New Day, because who they're up against. There's really that I don't know. I guess there's lack of intrigue in the story, because it felt like I will say, like, Shinsuke, like Rick Boogs has been entertaining. You know what I mean? So like that there's
they're entertaining. There's nothing against them. It's just, when you watch a wrestling pay-per-view, you even watch any wrestling show, and they tell you or they show you a graphic of what match is coming up next, and you can hear in the background the crowd popping for that match. Yeah. When this match comes up, I'm sorry, but who's going to go crazy about it? Like, there's once again, there's just no true creative investment into this.
The only part that's going to go crazy is when Boo screams out Shinsuke Nakamura's name, and then that'd be the crowd's going to be dead after that, compared to that intro.
Yeah. I mean, Shinsuke does have one of the best entrances in WWE, but it's a shame his career has been disappointing for the most part in there, just because of bad direction.
No, I definitely. Who do you got winning that match?
I got the Usos. I got the Usos winning that match.
Yeah, me too. If they don't, that would be a fucking shame. The Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul.
Okay, this is me live on air praying to the good Lord above that the Mysterios absolutely whoop Logan Paul's ass. I can't stand Logan Paul. I can't stand Jake Paul. Like, I can't stand either of them, anything they stand for, their YouTube channel. No, none of it. Just screw both of them. So Logan Paul, to me, is just a annoying, unentertaining version of Rob Gronkowski. And so seeing this tag team match happen, and once again, I feel bad for The Miz, because The Miz is the one that's thrown into this. He was thrown into this last year when he and John Morrison, I believe, were facing Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. And now here he is teaming with Logan Paul. So no, and I agree with Sonny Money Mayo on this. I hope Logan Paul gets fucked up. I can't stand him. Like, I'm sorry. It's just, I'm not sorry. Screw the guy. But, so I do like the storytelling. I think the match is going to be entertaining. I think this is one of those matches where I'd be like, okay, let's see how this goes.
Right.
But
it also gives it pulls you in enough to, like, it's smart by WWE bringing in Logan Paul, because now you have an opponent that, or a wrestler that you want to see get the shit kicked out of him. So just bringing him in with that, and then setting him up with a wrestler like The Miz, I think The Miz is underrated as far as his longevity and like the availability of like the storytelling that he been able to do. Is it always top tier? No, but it's never the worst stuff that's going to be on WWE television. So, who do you got now? Who do you got winning that one? Mysterios or
Okay,
not?
this
Who
is
you want
gonna
to
be
win? Who do you got?
actually right. The big difference. Well, obviously we all know who I want to win, but I actually think the Miz and Logan Paul are gonna win because I think that Dominic Mysterio is gonna turn on his father at some point in this
Ooh,
night.
ooh.
I
Think
think
it's gonna be
Dominic's
this?
gonna. I think at WrestleMania. If not the night,
Okay,
it's gonna be the night, the Raw after. Like
right.
there's
Okay, I could see that.
it, and it's weird to think of because I've watched wrestling long enough to remember when Dominic was just a little kid who Eddie and Ray were fighting over
Oh, I
on the
agree.
custody of
That's
Dominic
Eddie's
ladder
kid.
match.
Yeah.
And
No.
so now this is going on. So, but yes, I think somehow the Miz and Logan Paul win this match. But
Nah,
like, if, who do you got, Adam?
well, I'm going to take the Miz and Logan Paul because with having three celebrities between both nights, one of the celebrities have to win either in the singles match or in this tag team match, and I think it's going to be this night. So you have to have that where it can't be all sunshine and rainbows. Some of the hills have to get over. That way you can continue the storylines onto to Monday and so on. So uh we this can be short. Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. We've established neither of us care about this one. Doesn't
No,
matter who
it's
wins.
going to be Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is going to win. Good for him. I don't really care.
Yeah, me neither. Kofi Kingston or New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Also another one not huge on. Who do you
Don't
got winning that
care.
one?
New Day's going to win, though. Love the New Day. I think they'll win. I don't care about Butch, Ridge Holland, Sheamus. I mean, these look like guys that you'd find out of Django Unchained. So I really don't care.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Seth Rollins versus mystery opponent. Now, the whole Shane McMahon thing has been popping up, and it's kind of like, you know what? Fucking maybe, man. Because they had, they were talking about this being the matchup to begin with. So does, and Vince is known to swerve. So does Shane show up on Saturday and Cody shows up on Monday?
Let me tell you something. That is that is such a WWE thing to happen. Is
Oh, for sure.
everybody getting hyped about Cody coming back, which he will at some point soon. Within the next 5 days from this broadcast, Cody Rhodes will be on WWE programming.
Right.
Whether it be at one of the WrestleMania nights or at the Raw afterwards. But I have one of two things happening. I have, what you were saying with Shane McMahon facing Seth Rollins. Or honestly, I have Shane McMahon coming out and then all of a sudden getting attacked by Cody Rhodes. Like Cody Rhodes comes out and attacks him, and then we have Rollins versus Rhodes.
That
So I could see it.
No, I could
But
see
I
it
think
too.
I do think Cody Rhodes will be Seth Rollins' opponent at the end of the day.
So do I. I'm definitely hoping
It's
so.
too great of an opportunity to pass up. Like, we always talk about WWE guys going to AEW, but the fact that Cody, who started this and coming back to WWE, yeah, that's just mind blowing for me.
Money Mayo says, wish WWE did something more dope and had Will Ospreay come out as a mystery opponent. That would be cool, man. If
Ooh.
you could, but I just don't see him.
I'd be mind blown. I would be mind blown.
I don't see him just pulling away from New Japan even just for a night or them allowing that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But if they actually did stuff like that and actually you know, they kicked down the forbidden door a little bit with Mickey James at the Royal Rumble. So like it's not completely out of the realm, just highly unlikely. So and then we have the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. What's your thoughts on that? Which is supposed to be ending WrestleMania Night 1, which I was surprised to hear that.
So I'm going to tell you the truth. I enjoy this. A lot of people don't. I do. Do I like the fact that Stone Cold? See, this is the thing. Stone Cold to me is one of the smartest guys in the wrestling business. He would be the guy to know if he could wrestle or not. Like, you could not get him off the Broken Skull Ranch for any just normal old thing. Like, it had to be big, and it would have to be something he knew he could do. Because WrestleMania 19 was the last time he wrestled an actual, match.
Right.
And it was a good match, a damn good match against The Rock. Which I think is why a lot of people are upset. Why do you want to tarnish? It's kind of like the Ric Flair thing. Ric Flair had a phenomenal match against Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest matches of all time, and then look what happens.
He went to TNA.
Yeah, went to TNA, and all hell broke loose. So I think this is going to be, if what all the sheets are saying is true, that this will end night 1. I think it'll be a good segment, great way to end night 1. Maybe an impromptu match. Who knows? I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I've gotten more excited for it. There's just seems like there's like, I don't know. I was hoping to maybe get a Stone Cold promo, not just like it felt like he was giving a TV promo to, hey, look at one of my shows on, Broken Skull Sessions or something like that. So it kind of felt, I was hoping to get a little more vigorous, like Stone Cold promo, even if it was just, on Broken Skull Ranch, but something like that. Pictures of Austin taken to date by today's fans. Stone Cold is looking jacked. I haven't seen that. I don't see I don't see Stone Cold putting himself in a position to where he's gonna look just out sloppy and flabby, but I also don't see him we're not gonna get the Stone Cold that we've seen 20 years ago. 22 years or whatever it was,
No,
WrestleMania 19.
not at all.
So, but if you
No,
can give
God,
if
how's
they,
that like 20 years ago? Oh
tell me
God.
about it, brother. Tell me about it. But if you get an impromptu 5 to 7 minute match, let Owens get a little bit on him, and then kind of Austin finish the matchup, which I also think it's smart for them to finish night 1 like that. Stone Cold drinking the beers, the crowd going crazy, and like old typical Attitude Era, in Attitude fashion. So,
Oh, without a doubt, I'm excited for that.
Mayo saying we're gonna get prime 2001 Austin kicking ass. I don't know, man. I hope. I don't have my expectations up like that. I think it's going to be cool, but I think it's going to be kind of what I expect as far as the match. Not a whole lot of physicality. I do think Owens hits a fucking stunner on Austin, but
Yeah, and here's the thing. I do want to add this. All right, so I think it was last week, or this past Monday night on Raw, and twice. This isn't just once, twice. Kevin Owens owned the crowd with hearing Stone Cold's music, and the
for
crowd
sure,
popped. Like, it
for
was
sure.
literally just like Bret Hart with the whole thing with Shawn Michaels in Montreal in 2005.
Right.
And this just proves right here. If that's what it was like on Monday Night Raw, imagine what's going to be like in Dallas, Texas at WrestleMania with anywhere from probably 90 to 100,000 fans in that stadium.
They
I
already
mean,
said
it's
it's already
Jerry's
well.
World.
On McAfee show said there's already confirmed should be over 100,000 people. So, going to transition to night 2, Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I'm super intrigued by this just because I'm a huge Pat McAfee mark.
Same. I
So like, I
love
just
Pat McAfee. It's gonna be a fun match. That's how I can put it. Like, I love his commentary on SmackDown. I was hoping he'd get the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Announcer of the Year award. And I was bummed when he didn't, but it's okay. He still got plenty of votes, which I was happy to hear about. But yes, I think Austin Theory's the right guy for him to go up against. He doesn't, because it'll make Austin Theory look good, and Pat McAfee's a really good wrestler in his own regard. So I think this is a very good matchup, and we don't know where, or I shouldn't say where, but where on the card it will be. But I'm excited for it. It'll be good.
Yeah. So who do you got winning?
Oh, I got Pat McAfee. I
got Austin Theory winning. I got Austin Theory winning because I'll tell you why. Because I think that McAfee knows he's not a full timer, and he's willing to put over people, because I think he respects the business like that, to where he's like, all right, I know, there's not a match following Monday. What that win for Austin Theory does more for, or win for Theory does more for him than it does for McAfee. So just kind of, that's kind of my opinion, just kind of how when I've listened to McAfee and how much he respects the business, I think he's going to do the job just for the good of the business.
I can see that point, but we'll just have to see what happens. I'm excited.
I hope I'm wrong. I'm gonna be rooting for McAfee. All right, so we got another one I really don't care about: Bobby Lashley versus Amos.
Yeah,
brain fart. So for me, just like the Amos character, I'm not intriguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I'm gonna be honest.
Poor Bobby Lashley.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think of a way to where I could say how the Almighty, and literally with Bobby Lashley, the Almighty has fallen. Like last year, he is the definition of a transitional champion, and it's heartbreaking because I felt the Hurt Business at its peak with MVP, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley. Those four, it was great. Prime television, top-notch segments, and now Bobby Lashley's just kind of there in a throwaway match. This match is made to get Omos over. That's all it is. That's all. That's the only reason this match exists. I'm not gonna lie, I hope it doesn't, but I'm waiting for something bad to happen in that match, because I feel like Omos is too green to go against a legit fighter and a legit good wrestler like Bobby Lashley. And I feel like something's gonna go wrong. And I hope I'm wrong, but I don't got any interest. That's probably gonna be the worst match of night too.
No,
without a doubt.
Definitely the least entertaining, because as far as in-ring work,
right,
Omos it isn't entertaining. So he's not even like the giant WCW entertaining. Anything's goes match, Johnny Knoxville. I think this will be super entertaining. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn.
Okay, so I was thinking about this over the past few minutes heading into the show, and hear me out on this. What if? So I still think there's the chance that Sami Zayn could win. And I love Sami Zayn might have one of my favorite characters in all of WWE. I love Sami Zayn's character. Every week he cracks me up, and and the Hulu kick is one of my favorite, and the Blue Thunder Bomb are two of my favorite finishers / signature moves. But here's something I thought about. What if the cast of Jackass goes out there during the match?
Oh, that would be cool.
I think they're gonna go out there and help Johnny out on against Sami Zayn. Now the thought of we remember we saw who was it? We saw Steve-O, and was it Chris Pontius again when they were on Raw
with the Umaga?
Years ago?
Beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, when Umaga beat the shit out of him, and legitimately, let's make this clear, folks. They legitimately got the shit beat out of him because Steve-O did not sell. He no sold the Samoan Spike and the splash and everything. So Umaga straight up was beating the shit out of him and but he can't break character and tell him, stay the hell down, you son of a bitch. No, so he just had to keep beating him up. And yeah, I remember that. And gosh forbid how long ago that was. That was like 2008, 2007. And I remember it fresh as day. But I can see them coming out, and helping Johnny Knoxville against Sami Zayn. It's anything goes. And, the Jackass stars are known to do anything. I mean, they've ran through. I can't even begin. Don't even get me started. That's a whole new show on what they've done on their shows. But
so you got Zayn in that one?
That's one way. I'm not sure now. That's the thing. I almost want to say no contest. I almost want to say
like you can't go no contest and anything goes.
Well, you can in a Hell in a Cell, but they still did it.
Oh, yes, valid point. Valid point. We're
talking about WWE here, Adam. It's a Hell in a Cell, and the ref calls for the bell, so anything goes. All right, I will go with. All right, I'm gonna say it. I think Johnny Knoxville is gonna win only because the Stars of Jackass are gonna interfere, and Sami Zayn's gonna go on SmackDown and have a big tirade conspiracy theory about everything, which I would love to see. So, do I want Zayn to win? 1000%. Do I think he'll win? I don't know. I'm torn, but I think Knoxville might win this one.
I'm going to take Zayn with this one. I'm about to digress real quick by this bullshit fucking comment Mayo makes saying that I need a Villanova hat.
Ooh.
All right, Mayo, first off, fuck Villanova. Fuck the Phillies for 1980. Fuck everything in Philadelphia, for a matter of fact. So fucking take that Philadelphia bullshit and shove it up your ass, bro. I had to get that off my chest. That was in the comments. I couldn't just let that one go. Like, because after Villanova gets fucking ran through on Saturday. Come talk to me.
Oh my gosh. I just saw the comment here by Frankie. Oh, this one's too soon, man. Oh, yeah, that was dark. What the fuck?
That was
I
dark.
don't see Ryan it says here, put it up here so that way it doesn't look like I'm the one originally saying it.
Well, I wasn't sure if I should put that up because that shit was fucking dark. I don't see Ryan Dunn making
dark. That is cold-hearted. I was like, that is cold-hearted.
Inside of me, like I chuckled a little bit just because it was so dark, but I was just like, I don't know if I should leave that one alone. Way to go, Frankie. You're a dickhead, bro.
Yeah, Frankie, you just fucked us all over. Thanks a lot.
All right, brother. So then we have AJ Styles versus Edge.
Okay, let me tell you, I was talking to one of my good friends at Dynamo Pro Wrestling a few nights ago, and he brought up this interesting point about this whole thing. Why is Edge heel? Edge did not have to be the heel. Remember, at the Royal Rumble, AJ Styles attacked him. He could have used that as his reasoning for attacking back. And look, Edge is a great heel, probably one of the best. But there is no reason that heading into WrestleMania, Edge had to be the heel. This is like a 4-week heel turn that you've had to make. So, no, I'm excited for the match. I think I think Edge is going to win. I do think Edge is going to win this match. But I'm going to tell you right now, I just want to say there's no reason that Edge has to be the heel in this match. So, that's what I got on that one.
I could see that. I definitely understand that logic. Once he did turn heel, he did get more intriguing. I'm not a huge fan of when these guys come back and they're like, "Oh, golly, Jux, thanks you guys for having me back. I feel so appreciated being back," and like that shit runs stale after a while. So you have to find something to move on to that next. That next level, that next transition to be able to be a character instead of a shill of kind of, you don't want to just be running off what your name was before and have a legacy match and stuff like that. So especially if it's Edge is doing these longer term feuds, so like he had to do something. What he could have done as a babyface, I'm not sure. The quick transition could have been better, but it was one of those things that I don't hate that he turned heel. Maybe the fact that how he turned heel in such a short period of time, it wasn't very well executed. But once he got there, I thought he got the ball rolling. So, but I will take Edge in that one as well. All right, brother. And last but not least, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I see Sonny's comment about this Edge versus AJ being the best match of all the of Wrestlemania this year, and I can certainly understand that. But let me tell you, there is not a more entertaining storyline, a more intense storyline, and overall great characters right now in WWE than Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, this past year and a half, has been one of the best, how do I word it? I guess, bright stars in the sense of it's just great to see. And like when WWE's having those really bad periods, Roman Reigns is right there and it's great. The whole tribal chief, the bloodline, all of it's phenomenal. The switch and bait with Paul Heyman on which side he's on, great. And Adam, I'm going to tell you this much, and you've seen this as well as I have. Brock Lesnar is having the time of his life. Like, this dude is out there laughing, he's dancing, he's driving forklifts, he's got all these construction vehicles, got the cowboy hat on. He is living his best life. And
it's added another layer to his character that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, exactly. Brock Lesnar, you always used to have Paul Heyman be his speaker. And, we understood it because even if we didn't care because Paul Heyman's the GOAT when it comes to talking on the mic. But Roman has developed his character so much in the past year. And I do think that this is, yes, I think out of all the matches that Brock and Roman have had, this one will top them all. I think this will be the perfect way to close out WrestleMania. And, okay, I got one swerve. I'm not going to lie. This would be this is a bold thought. I don't think this will happen. This is just a bold thought. Imagine Brock Lesnar, because I think Lesnar's going to win. Make that clear. Brock Lesnar, in my opinion, I think is going to beat Roman Reigns.
Really?
And imagine as Lesnar's celebrating, who else comes out but Cody Rhodes?
That'd be probably a better way to reintroduce Cody.
Like,
instead of just like, here's your special.
Here's Cody. Right. And especially since Vince is the one announcing the name. First off, it seems more likely that Vince would announce Shane McMahon over Cody Rhodes. So to see Cody come out during the Brock's big celebration at WrestleMania, kind of like how John Cena came out and at Money, I think it was Money in the Bank. I don't remember which pay-per-view it was off the top of my head, where he surprised Roman Reigns. So, yeah. That's what I think. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying this is a prediction or a spoiler or anything. I just think that would be an interesting, bold move that WWE could make.
That would be a great way to go about. So as far as like, is this the best match of the trilogy? I think it's the first time we've been intrigued by the trilogy. all of the other times, Roman was in a spot that we didn't really care for him to be in that particular spot. We always wanted somebody else there. And, like we got Brock while Brock was there, but we having Roman shoved down our throats in the baby face role, it kind of it soured the match going into it. People didn't want to see it. Now there's going to be a pure enthusiasm for this particular match.
Oh yes, absolutely. So
So you have
overall, from top to
you have
go
Brock
ahead.
winning that?
Yes, I got Brock winning it. This match to me is gonna go like a half hour. I think this match is gonna go half hour.
I can see it going for a while, especially with them having a few matches on the second night on this card. I see
Let me tell you
Roman winning
something.
it.
Bobby Lashley versus Omos is gonna go like 2 minutes. So, yeah, Roman Reigns is still gonna be the heel. Brock Lesnar is still gonna be the babyface. This crowd's gonna go nuts. I'm telling you, WWE had a WrestleMania last year was really good. WrestleMania the year before was real good. It's been a while since they've had a bad WrestleMania. That's the thing people need to realize. It's just, WrestleMania 35 was so damn long.
No,
Like they needed to split it up, and that's why I like these 2-night WrestleManias. So
I don't hate it either.
Yeah, no, and so I think because that's the thing. It's not the WrestleManias that are the problem. The last time I think that there was a bad WrestleMania, I mean, it wasn't WrestleMania 37, 136, 135. Well, let me see what the because they made the most of what they could do. 34 was good. Honestly, when you're getting to like I think WrestleMania 32, which, believe it or not, was the last WrestleMania that took place in Dallas. That was the one where Triple H faced Roman Reigns in the main event, and people were booing the hell out of him.
The main event was disappointed on that. So
yeah.
I'm gonna give a quick shout out here to these guys. Be sure to check out Wrestlemania, presented by Wrestle Talk Podcast this Saturday at Kincaid inside Oak Park Mall. $20 per person. Kids 12 and under, only $10. Be sure to check those guys out. If you're looking for a WrestleMania watch party, go join the guys at Wrestle Talk Podcast, and I'll be out there myself. So if any of y'all want to see my pretty face, you definitely know where I'll be at Saturday night. As I'm watching also fucking KU kick the shit out of Villanova.
Ooh.
So, all right, brother. Well, I appreciate you coming on. You want to go ahead and tell everybody where to follow you? You on, is it J Karp Sports Fan 1 on all social media?
All right. So we got, for my personal Twitter, it's at, because as you know, Adam, with us expanding at I-70 Sports Media, we got a lot of different socials. So, all right. So obviously you can follow Talking Dynasty on Facebook, Twitter, and on its lovely YouTube channel. You can follow myself at J Karp Sports Fan 1 on Twitter. You can find me at Jeremy Karp on Facebook. As far as, and I'm on Instagram as well. And as far as the Interstate 70 Sports Media, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. That's the big one, folks. The big selling point. We're on YouTube, and yeah, you can find Roundabout Sports on there. I record every Wednesday night, 7:30 Central Standard Time. Also want to give a shout out to our partner, all of ours, James Knox, who is working on his MLB 2022 prediction show, which I know is going to be
tomorrow night, right?
I believe so. Yes, it's going to be a big time hit. And so, let's see. Yep, he says that due to work commitments, his prediction show is going to be tomorrow afternoon. So Friday afternoon on Facebook, on the Interstate 70 Sports Media Facebook page.
Pretty much any MLB, that's a guy to go to.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Just like anything Kansas City, we go here, folks. Like Talking Dynasty is where it's at. And of course, if it's just the Kansas Jayhawks who are gonna, I'm telling you, man, I got them over Villanova. Fuck Nova. Are you kidding
That's what
me?
I'm saying.
Like,
Yeah, fuck
I think
Nova.
it's gonna be
That's
Duke.
exactly.
One quick thing, it's gonna be Duke and Kansas in the finals. I think it's
I
gonna
hope so,
be
man,
Duke and
because I want to be
Kansas.
I want to be the one who give Coach K his last loss. That's it. That's
Well,
it. That's it. Rock
so
chalk. They beat us in the championship in the early '90s. We got to get them
that.
back. Villanova's beat us the last couple times.
Ooh,
One
I
of
didn't
our
even
better
think of
teams.
that. I did
So
not even think about that. That's a good way for you guys to send off Coach K
yeah,
to say
exactly, dude. I got a lot of
sayonara.
hate in my heart. I got a lot of hate in my heart when it comes to teams who beat my particular teams in big moments. That's why I hate the fucking Phillies with a passion.
That's true. Why do you think I last night on the show I got pissed when when my friend yesterday gave me this Ben Roethlisberger 1-of-1 card, and it's a game used jersey. I've been seeing this motherfucker whoop my team's ass for 18 years. I'm sick of it. I'm glad the
Hey,
bastard retired.
well, bro, now they got the worst quarterback in the division, so your Browns might actually have a chance, depending
We
on
got
how
this.
many games Watson gets suspended and things like
Right.
that.
But I tell you,
Uh, Renee,
look
brother,
who it
no worries.
is.
Family comes
We
first.
love
I
you.
definitely get it. I appreciate you giving me a heads up. Karp came through in the clutch for us to break down this Wrestlemania card. So
And Adam, you did it. Like I said, Adam, you did a great job on the Wrestle Talk subbing in. So, I'm telling you, man. Like, and I always love tuning into Talking Dynasty. So honestly, it's even more fun actually getting to be on it.
there you go, brother. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, brother, and you have a good night.
All right, man. Have a good night, everybody. Stay blessed.
All right, up next is my typical co-host that I didn't think he wanted to talk too much wrestling with us, but I had a couple of topics that I definitely wanted to get to with him. One that sparked a lot of flames under my comments when a lot of times I might just be trolling or bullshitting because people are easy to do so. But let me bring on the guest, J Money, or the co-host, J Money, Justin Olson.
What's going on, buddy?
What's up, brother? So,
Another day in paradise.
man, like yesterday I have posted that send the Chiefs to the Legends, send the Royals downtown. And a lot of it, well, a little bit of it was me trolling. Half of that I believe. So what I believe in, like, I'm all for the Royals going downtown. That's 81 games a year. You're in an entertainment district that, honestly, what are we going to get most of the time? 15, 16,000 people. That's roughly about what Sprint Center does. So I know people complain about traffic, but it's not something that's completely out of the norm for what we do. Hell, whenever there's big concerts going on at Sprint Center, I think they can fit up to 18,000 whenever you put floor seats on. So I know, like, if we ever get good or opening day, there's going to be 40,000 people, converting downtown. But it's definitely one of those things where I would like to see something surrounded by an entertainment district with that many games. I think it's good for Kansas City. So, but as far as when it comes to the Chiefs, I'm just bullshitting. Like that. I love Arrowhead. Mayo says any particular place downtown. Man, Riverfront. I love Riverfront. I love Riverfront Stadium. So like there's a few places that you could possibly do it. There's like and, like there's openings over there that are just land that is not, it's just literally just land over there that we could possibly do it. We have the trolleys down there so people can um, hitch a ride in there. You don't even have to drive all the way downtown. It's kind of like St. Louis does. So it's one of those things. But when it comes to Arrowhead, that as Kaufman's beautiful, but I don't think it holds that historic aura that Arrowhead does. So when I post shit like that, it's mainly just to piss people off. So I would prefer Arrowhead stay where it's at. I would like them to build up around that fucking area because there ain't shit around there. But it's one of those things where like let's keep the Chiefs at Truman Sports Complex. Like, have you got into any of those Did you read any of those comments yesterday as far as like the tweets and stuff like that?
No, I mean, I read some of your comments on there on your post. People saying that downtown is like already too busy and whatnot. And
Dude, it's really not.
Yeah, I think they could manage it. I mean, anytime you go to the Royals game, anyways, as soon as it's out, it's chaotic no matter what. I mean,
once you get closer to it, it's a shit show before you hit fucking Stadium Drive.
Right. And I think actually if you put it right there where, 670, 70, 35, 71, all those are right there, I think it might help traffic more than anything, honestly. Just because, when you leave Truman Sports Complex, once you hit like 70 and 35 downtown, really, that's kind of where it dies off a little bit. So I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, obviously, you got a lot of Missourians hating that idea.
Okay, so that's also another thing, dude. Like the fact that I get a lot of this, and even some of them are my friends. It's just like, how many pro teams does Kansas have, and just shit like that. Or they get upset when they think that these teams are in Kansas, and they're always quick to correct people. I don't think it's a big deal. Like, these teams are celebrated by the Kansas City Metro, and without the Kansas City Metro, these teams wouldn't fucking be here to begin with, because not Jackson County by itself can't support the Chiefs or the Royals by themselves. I understand that they're footing the bill, and the taxpayers are, that was one of the things. Hey, us taxpayers, we just gave up so much money. I get it. You also choose to live in Jackson County, so you know what comes with the amenities that possibly can do that. The zoo. There's a few things that kind of come with those areas and living in them. So the conversation or the kind of the heat or the madness that Missourians have about the idea of these teams going to Kansas. At the end of the day, nobody's going to give a shit. Wherever these teams go, you'll drive that extra 20 minutes, because it may be an extra 20 minutes for you, but it's a less 20 minutes for someone else. So it's no different. It's just, no matter where the teams are at, we're going to follow them.
Right. Like, at the end of the day, if you're willing to walk away from the Chiefs over something so small, then you're not a real fan anyway. So
right.
I mean, maybe that'll help weed out all the bandwagon fans. And
no, we need bandwagon. Well, I don't think bandwagon fans are necessarily bad. Those are like the casual fans, man. It's no different from when the Royals do well.
I know, but whenever.
Let's be honest, dude. Between you and I, who else can you have baseball conversations with? Who else do you talk about? Like, hey, did you see the Royals? So, like, some of these sports need casual fans. I think the Chiefs have a little more diehards, but I don't necessarily think like bandwagon fans are necessarily bad.
No, I agree,
but you do need it to a certain extent.
Yes and no. Like, with the whole rumor shit, that's what really gets me, like the whole Eric Bieniemy thing, Tyrann Mathieu thing, like the Patrick Mahomes' brother Jackson thing. Like I feel like weeding out some of them people that turn something so meticulous into such a big freaking deal,
Right.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, these are professional sports players. Let them be them. There's going to be, like maybe a little less Frank Clark with Uzi things would, be cool. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. They're going to do them. they have to deal with their punishments, so let it be. Like, don't blow it into something that it's really not.
Right. Most of that's a valid point. I didn't think about that because a lot of times, like these rumors get blown up through these um, groups, either in Facebook or it catches wind on Twitter or something like that. And it probably is somebody who's more of a casual fan. They just want the Chiefs to win so bad, and then when they hear something negative, oh well, this is why we're losing. So I mean, that's a solid point to where if something happens, you can kind of weed out those fans who the problem is maybe they stop going to the games, but I imagine that they're still going to be vocal on the internet, and they're going to be. That's when you'll get the well. This is why I stopped going out there. This is why I stopped watching and shit like that. So, but
Right. Well,
I guess that's one of those things we have to live with. That's going to be here. This offseason has been one of the craziest. I never thought our fan base would be the ones to blow these stories up as far as, especially the be enemy thing, just where everybody just took it as fucking true. And it's like, oh, let's blame be enemy for everything. Just like from an anonymous website, from nobody who actually put their name on the fucking story. Like it garnered a lot of attention. It even garnered like national pundits that I follow on Twitter that they were talking about it. So once I seen that, I was like, oh fuck, come on, Chiefs fans, we're better than this.
Yeah. And really, I didn't even realize all of it until I started joining all the Facebook Chiefs groups on Facebook and whatnot. And man, it is crazy. Like some of the stuff these people are saying, like, and then with like, the trade of Tyreek Hill and stuff like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is going to be trash. Well, Patrick Mahomes got to the NFL without Tyreek. I'm pretty sure he's going to be fine without Tyreek. Like he is who he is, regardless of Tyreek or not.
Right. I mean, the thing is, it's like he's going to have good production no matter kind of really who's out there. Kind of, I put him in like that Aaron Rodgers category. He's going to elevate that next wide receiver. Will it be a Tyreek Hill? We don't necessarily know that. Tyreek's honestly one of one that pops off the field, but he's still going to be productive to the point where he's considered one of, if not the best quarterback in the NFL year in and year out. So speaking of transition, the Chiefs offense adding another. We touched on a little bit, but he wasn't signed over this past Saturday morning. Ronald Jones, what do you think that looks like adding to our offensive weapon?
I think it's great. I think he is man, I don't want to dump on Clyde because I think Clyde with the opportunities, he is what we need him to be. But I think Ronald Jones just kind of brings a whole nother aspect, like I don't know, 3rd and 1, instead of QB sneak and risk and pat, I feel a lot better putting it in Ronald Jones's hands and having him run it up, the middle and getting that yard. Screens, I mean, Fournette really did very well with the screens last year, but I think Ronald Jones, that's one of his like big pluses to our
right.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I think it's good, man. I think the fact that we went out and got that running back shows that, Andy's going to try to get us going with the running game more than what we have been, which is going to be huge. I think it'll be huge for sure, just because, with our lack of weapons at wide receivers, and I hate saying that just because we got rid of Tyreek, I don't think we're lacking the weapons because, we got 2 guys that can potentially put up, 750 to 1,000 yards for us. I don't know if MVS is going to do that, but regardless, we got 2 weapons that can be equivalent to what Tyreek.
I would say we're deeper 1 to 3. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
even maybe Hardman the 3. You know what I mean? Maybe we're deeper. We don't have that top end guy like we had with Tyreek, but we have like better quality the 1 through 3. So it's just So Hardman was probably the number 2 receiver last year based on numbers. I know Pringle would have his moments, but he consistently didn't get as many opportunities that maybe he could have shown to be that number 2. And he also had a couple times where he had some pretty big drops. But yeah, I definitely see that. Maybe we're a little bit deeper as far as quality of receivers on the board, and then you throw in Josh Gordon as that number 4, and then Cornell Powell. I see us adding another one, so I see us actually being better in that wide receiver core, 1 through, I would assume 5 or 6 that were, 5 minimum for sure, 1 through 6 in that wide receiver room. That as a whole we can be better. And we still got Kelsey.
I definitely agree.
I seen something that said we didn't lose our wide receiver 1. We still have him in Kelsey. He's our wide receiver 1 and our tight end 1. Which I was like, you know what? That's true, man. Like that's he's the guy who gets the tough yards, those 12 yards, those third downs. Tyreek was the big play guy, which we're gonna miss because we're going to need somebody to fill up in that role. Maybe to not that extent. I don't think anybody in the league can do what Tyreek does, but definitely get close. Mayall's a big Rojo fan. Is coming out of USC. I think Rojo is going to be a starter sometime throughout the season. Man, so like that's kind of me and you're both been on the same tip. I'd like to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire get his touches to be able to. I think he's one of those guys who needs touches to get rolling. But it's one of the. I could definitely see Ronald Jones taking his job.
I don't know. I don't see it. I mean, he's got that 5-yard average per run type. And Clyde has been kind of lacking that, but I also feel like, it's hard for a running back to kind of, especially with the new offensive line, it's kind of hard to, know what holes, even though there's designated holes, of course, to hit each play. But I feel like, once Clyde gets more rolling with his offensive line and kind of gets to know everybody and whatnot, I think it's gonna make him better just because he's got more of that time behind those guys. Ronald Jones, he's coming in. I guess it's kind of comparable to Tampa Bay, just the simple fact that past first game, but at the same time, I feel like they went out and got him just so we could have a 1-2 punch, and at the same time, if the wide receivers that we have aren't doing as good as we need them to in games, you could always, send Ronald Jones out and have him run a route or whatnot. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I don't see Clyde losing his job, definitely.
The way I see Clyde losing his job is if he gets injured.
Yeah, that I could see. Yeah.
He hasn't been a guy who's actually been healthy. Mayo says, I think Rojo's this version of McKinnon from last year, which is kind of, well, just think about it, man. Because Clyde got hurt, and then we started to give McKinnon that availability to, like, all right. And then he came on so strong at the end of the year. He's the one who was getting the touches in the playoff games. As he probably should. How healthy was Clyde at the end of the season? Like, he was, I think he fucked up his hip or some shit like that. I'm not sure. Like, don't quote me on that, but I know that he got hurt in the Steelers game. I don't remember, but it's definitely one of those things where he has to stay healthy to keep his job. So, all right, brother, we're gonna transition real quick to a team that's gonna beat the shit out of Villanova this week.
Oh, yeah.
KU. So KU has a big advantage. Villanova's a very good team, but with Moore getting hurt, their second leading scorer, huge Huge loss for Villanova. And honestly, man, it seems like KU's catching all the breaks this tournament with the way that the tournament has lined up on who we're facing, and for Villanova to lose a guy like Moore in this particular at the Final Four. Man, it's just like things are just kind of lining up for KU this season to at least get to the national championship. I would say that if they don't beat Villanova, it'll be a disappointment.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Like, honestly, I mean, I still think Ochai is going to have a good game. Like, he has just been ice cold. And, dude, honestly, if it wasn't for Remy Martin, we'd probably got knocked a long time ago. Like, the way he stepped up and he hasn't averaged, 10 points a game for KU since he's been here. Yeah, he's been hurt a lot, but since the tournament, man, that dude has just been killing it, been clutch. He still takes his, tries to carry the team a little too much sometimes and throws up prayers, but hey, if that's what it takes to win games, I'm down with it. But I think Ochai's got to definitely have a good game if we're going to win this game.
He's definitely seemed a little tight these first few games. It got a little bit better the last game, but the first two games of the tournament, he definitely seemed tight. And luckily, we did have a fucking, you just said his name. He's just, my mind went
Remy
blank. Remy Martin. I was thinking Jeremy Martin. Jeremy Case was going through my head. Remy Martin, to where it's kind of, we did need somebody who was going to be kind of the alpha, you know what I mean? And just like, all right, guys, I'll put you on my back, because at that point we had nobody else. We looked dead in the water. Even last week we looked dead in the water in the first half. We looked flat, and then we come out in the second half. And then you got David McCormick. Scored 6 points, 8 points in the first few minutes in the second half, and hell, it didn't even play much of the second half after that. And then we just we started to hunker down on defense, and Miami couldn't make a basket if they wanted to. And Remy Martin, it allowed Ochai to kind of ease his way back into the offense.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Because, I think he had 2 points the first half, and then finally he started clicking in the second half. I don't remember
I think he ended up with 15 total, something like that. So,
right.
And Brown, dude, like, he's such an underrated rebounder from the position that he plays, dude. Like, such an underrated rebounder. So it's just, he's been good, man. And if we can get him to where he's hitting shots too. He's also a guy who's very good in the fast break. That's the thing with KU. If they get into the fast break, man, it's almost over for these other teams if we start running on them. So,
right, yeah, that's what makes our defense so killer, is because once we get that ball from you, that fast break is where we,
we're pushing.
I'm pretty sure we average 20 to 30 points, fast break points a game, and that's been huge for us lately, especially
honestly.
In that game last.
It reminds me of the old Roy Williams teams with KU, how we would just push and push with Heinrich and Gooden would push. It's the first time I really can think of a Bill Self team where we're pushing this damn much. So, if theoretically KU wins, who do you want them to play in the championship?
Oh, man. See, I get the whole Coach K would love to send him off with his last loss. But, ever since Roy went to North Carolina, North Carolina's kind of been like my number two, and I hate saying that. But at the same time, it's like, and Brady Manick, for him to go from Oklahoma to North Carolina to be such a big factor in these tournament games that he's been in, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just been nice to see. And I don't know, honestly, I'd prefer North Carolina. I mean, Duke, Coach K losing to North Carolina their last game, that's almost as, justifiable as KU beating them their last game,
Yeah, Duke beat KU in the national championship in the early 90s.
I know.
Can't let that one go. That's one of Coach K's wins. Like, I need to make sure that we send him off reminding him this isn't it. All right, brother. So it's getting late here. I got to get the fuck home. I know. I mean, there's only really two last words that we can end this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Rock chalk, baby.